So I'm gonna be pretty. I'm gonna be pretty. I'm gonna be
I'm
pretty.
so pretty. Oh, so pretty. I'm so pretty and witty and wise.
Oh my God. You're probably wondering, what is Raquel doing? Holy Jesus. But no, guys, hey, welcome, welcome, welcome. Definitely, we're having a different intro on this Saturday.
Saturday.
Hey, hey. Wherever you are, if you're going to be tuning into the Kentucky Derby, that's why I'm wearing this. Okay. But I'm going to actually take it off because we're serious around here. Okay. Are you going to watch it, Sia?
I guess so. Apparently I should. I did not know that it was Kentucky Derby Day. I mean, because here's the deal
Okay.
with the Derby. They have a bunch of pre-races in advance,
Mm-hmm.
right? They have a bunch of pre-races in advance, but the race is like 1 minute long,
Like
right?
2 minutes, the fastest, right?
And if you're not there, if you're in the bathroom or whatever, you've missed the race and you missed the entire purpose of the day. Yeah, I think I've missed the race like 20 times now. I've tried for like 30 years to like watch this darn thing, and so I've
Oh my
watched
gosh.
some races of the Derby day, but not the Derby, if that makes sense.
Oh my gosh. Well,
I've watched it on YouTube after the fact, if that counts.
I know that is true. That is true. See, I don't know much about horses, and and so this is definitely a new experience for me. But the person who knows about horses, and I'm so excited, is actually our guest today. And so I'm super excited once we bring her on to start talking about those things. But yes, so today, Houston people, if you are in the area or local, we will be meeting up at Julep. Shout out to our dear friend Alba from Julep, the owner there. We're going to be hosting a networking event and actually watching the race. So I'm excited.
So make sure you don't go to the bathroom near the race. That's all I'm saying. Okay, that was like me like 4 years in a row. So, no,
In
how
the time
fun!
of actually it's starting is like 6:57 Eastern. That's the start of it. And so you're like, that is an odd time. But then again, they talk about odds, right? So there we go.
Oh, not that you're odd. The time. Okay, gotcha. Catch what you're pitching. Catch what you're pitching.
Yes, yes. But anyhow, before we dive deeper into anything else and just, kind of say hi to everyone in the audience, let's go ahead and roll that intro and then let's just get our Saturday started.
Saturday, let's go, let's go.
Welcome to the Influencers Connection Corner.
Hey, hey,
Hey,
hey,
hey.
hey. I know there's always a little delay, but anyway, shout out to our dear friend Sarah Mitchell with that buttery voiceover. We love it. It's always,
Butter.
I know, right? Butter. Out of Orlando, Florida. Shout out to you, my friend. Hope everyone is doing wonderful out there. And but yeah, let us know where you're tuning in from. We always love getting to know people from all over the world. After all, we are on LinkedIn and we're also on YouTube. We also are on Spotify, so many different places. But the idea behind everything is we network on a daily basis. It's a 24-hour networking party, as I like to call it. Right, Tia? Right,
It's
Tia?
life. It's life, right?
It's
Make new friends, but keep the old. One is silver and the other gold.
I've never heard that one before, but thank you for introducing me.
You're welcome. I don't have children, but apparently I know way more nursery rhymes than I should.
But you do have nieces and nephews, so
That's why I learned them. Yep. Yeah.
you have to be preparing. You have to have some tools in your, equipped, I guess, with some tools. But anyhow, guys, thank you again for joining us today. Today is a topic that we continue on from literally from the beginning of the year. We've been focusing a lot on what Sia's favorite word, technology, tech, and cybersecurity.
I call those two industries, okay, job security. So anyone that's looking to build their career or transition careers, absolutely, you're never too old. It's never too late, and there's huge amounts of different roles that you could do in technology, and particularly in cybersecurity. Wow, say that word 15,000.
I know, particularly, right? But yes, it's been for me. It's been quite a ride. Obviously, the high point of all this has been for me the trip to Las Vegas for CPX 2025 Americas, and so shout out Checkpoint Software. You guys really hit it out of the park, and besides for me just gaining knowledge. It was just amazing. It was an amazing experience in seeing individuals in real life and actually getting to know them, talk to them about what led to their, picking cybersecurity or going into this field. So let us know out there, guys, if you are in this industry and what you're seeing and some of the trends. I love finding these things out because what? AI is dominating, innovation is dominating, and we're all heading, to the future. So are you coming along? That is,
Yeah, I look. So I have a huge affinity towards helping people understand that technology isn't some bogeyman type thing, because you cannot have that attitude or perception of it today in this culture today, because every fracking thing that we touch is connected in some capacity, either as a user, like you as just a consumer user, right? Or as a person that's behind the scenes helping to develop the next technology, next future, next gen. You still have to protect yourself. And you have to be educated to know what is out there, why certain buzzwords matter. And it's not just for hype. I mean, yes, as marketers, some of it is hype, but the reality of it is you just got to be educated enough, be educated enough. And so it doesn't matter how old you are, doesn't matter what industry you are, if you are an underwater basket weaver or my 90-year-old mom who freaking believes everything she sees online, like you just have to, get educated and know how it's appropriate for you to live your life, right? So, and protect your data. That's
yes,
all I'm saying, man.
absolutely. Doing our due diligence and actually being aware, all right? Those
Mm.
are two components that sometimes we just really, don't do because we feel that it's not really our responsibility. No, it is your responsibility. It is our responsibility to make sure and to ensure that we are protected, however that protection looks like for you and your household and your businesses. So
Yes.
uh, before
Speaking of protection and education, because we can just talk about it, but we know someone that can give us something really to talk about.
because I am no expert. So let's bring an expert on stage. So how about guys
Expert?
put your hands together and welcome our guest of honor today and the amazing and one and only Micki Boland.
She's like, oh my God, what kind of
Hello.
show am I on here? What is going on here?
I
You
know.
guys rock.
Uh, well,
Woo-hoo.
knowing Micki's spirit and just her whole entire persona, I know she fits right in. We love you. We love you. We loved you from the beginning, from when we actually met you online, and then we took things in real life, which was at the CPX 2025 Checkpoint Americas.
Great.
And it was such an honor not only to just carry over the conversations that we've had online, but to actually have that palpable, person in front of you and get to hug you and just get to know you and grow with you. So welcome. Thank you for taking Saturday morning to be here with us and enlighten us with your wisdom. So how do you feel
Thank you.
today?
I feel good. I feel good now that I reconnected on my internet. I don't know, like, you know how I always worry about broadcast, like live, because I always worry. I don't care about, anything we talk about. I'm not worried about being broadcasting or saying the wrong thing. I'm worried about a tech fail. And of
Shall we talk
course,
about that?
yeah.
Okay,
Yes,
so
but let us know why though. Why is it, where are you right now that it might get a little spotty here and there?
wait, don't need to detail more than you need to, because heaven knows we're cybersecurity. We don't want
Yes.
social engineering issues.
Yeah, actually, my internet's very stable. We just moved into, we just completed a new barndominium, but it's like the internet's it's been great. I don't know. My husband's over in the office. Maybe he pulled the doggone wireless access point off on me or something. I don't know. But yeah, I'm glad to be here and super excited. I love you guys since I met you guys in our CPX in Las Vegas. And then Raquel, when you came and talked to the women in IT at the Women in IT breakfast and presented about branding and how we should really think about what we're doing and how we're using social media to, kind of amplify our brand and networking, and really amazing. Your leadership, you guys, both of you, what you guys are doing with your media company is just phenomenal, and you're amazing smart, brilliant, beautiful women. So thank you. And you guys didn't pay me to say that.
I was gonna say, where do I mail
We'll
your
pay you
check?
though. I'll pay you say more, girl. I ain't shy.
Keep on going.
Oh my goodness. But yes, thank you for bringing that up. That the women in tech session back in February with the Checkpoint software, just women and the allies who supported. There were men who also showed up, and thank you guys for actually showing up for us, because as we know, sometimes things may not be as easy for us to break into an industry to just do what we are known to do best, which is lead and innovate. We're very creative. So seeing the men rally around us was very inspiring. And so thank you for that opportunity. And stay tuned because more is coming. See
We
ya.
can talk about it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. Let's give, by the way, a previous guest, Jessica Reese, shout out, beautiful. She actually, we've been talking to her, and she's local. She's another Texan. And I say Texan as in you guys are Texans. I am a Californian, but whatever. I reside in Texas. But anyway, and that's for various reasons. But both sides basically tell me I have to say that, whatever. But so Jessica really stepped up, and she said, look, she wanted to take what you did, Raquel, in 10 minutes at this women leadership in IT breakfast at CPX 2025 in Vegas in past February. And she's like, let's expand on this. And because LinkedIn, as people are chatting with us on LinkedIn, and Yolanda, she's our like lone wolf out on YouTube channel. So we love you, Yolanda. Also a Texas-based person, is how do we continue to uplift everybody in the STEM careers and industry? And you can still do it not just as a personal creator brand, but you can do it as under a corporate entity and still have your own unique voice. So thank you, Jessica. Brilliant Bee Media has partnered up with FIRE, which is an organization within Checkpoint, to foster and develop your own talent within Checkpoint. To me, you guys have done so much to really foster development within the company. And let me tell you guys, for those, when you see that Checkpoint is hiring, you should absolutely apply, because every single fracking person that we talked to at CPX had been at the company for like longer than basically all my clothing, like 10, 20 years was like the average. I'm like, do you guys people leave? Like, what? And that's a testimonial of a company to hold people in technology. That's incredible. So Micki, like, what is it that you love about Checkpoint? Because we can see it, but you're in it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm going on 13 years at Checkpoint, but I took like a year in between. A little hiatus. I went to a partner and tried to help uplift a small partner in Nashville, Tennessee, and then I came back to Checkpoint. So I came back to Checkpoint, and the cool thing is that they welcome me back. The thing I love the most about Checkpoint is that I'm so curious. I love to learn. I love the team and really get into adventures and kind of, especially in emerging tech. And they embrace all of that. I mean, we're super innovative in what we're doing with cybersecurity, and people are like AI, everyone's talking about AI, but it does have a huge payoff when you're using it for cybersecurity. So there's like AI that actually it's powering the cybersecurity, but we've been innovative for a long time. People that are here, there's longevity. We have quite a lot of people that have been here for a while because it's very new venture-y feel, right? It feels very, even though it's a 30-year-old company plus, and it's 3+ billion. Our financials are extremely well managed. We do invest in research and development and product development, and the people love it because it still has a very venture-y feel. So if you want to go out and develop something, you want to create something, you want to start a group, you can go for it. I've worked at some really big companies like Nortel Networks and Sprint, Government Solutions Division, and other divisions of Sprint. And they're very rigid, very bureaucratic, and Nortel doesn't exist anymore, and neither does Sprint in that way. But they're very rigid, I say, organizations that it's almost impossible for like people like me to talk to research and development teams. But that's not how Checkpoint is. Everyone can talk to R&D. We actually get to do a lot of work in early stage in helping test and validate our software with customers and certify it when it's brand new, and then providing feedback and liaisoning with R&D and product teams. So it's a very fun company. The people are just a blast. Everyone's curious. There's a lot of learning, a lot of we're not like a Silicon Valley. We are in Silicon Valley, but we are kind of more of like I don't know. It's a new venture feeling with a little bit of flexible structure. So and extremely well managed. Our leadership team at the top is just phenomenal. That's a long story.
But you know what though? I think no lie said, like legit, like as a third party observer, we spent time with everybody, spent a lot of time with their executive leadership. And in fact, this coming week, I will be releasing the final and last interview we did from CPX. And it's the climax of me interviewing with Gil Schwed, the founder, co-founder, and chairman of Checkpoint. And I'm going to tell the story, you guys, back because everyone's here on a Saturday. Everyone loves a little story, right? Here's the fun story. So when you see the episode, you guys, of the interview, you're going to see a nervous freaking wreck because I was late to my interview with Gil Schwed. And in my defense, I was already interviewing the amazing Cindy Carter, who has been on... Wait, Cindy hasn't been on this show yet, right? Raquel, we need to get her on?
No, Cindy hasn't been on the show.
Okay, so I released another episode. By the way, we did a sub-series and we named it Brilliantly Candid. So if you want to see these conversations, check it out. And Raquel does a sub-series of that in Espanol. So so because it was a CPX Latam, so we wanted to highlight a lot of the great leadership at Checkpoint in Espanol. So it was really cool. But that being said is nothing more fun to get a notification 15 minutes before to say, hey, we're going to have to bump up your 2 p.m. to 11 a.m. or something. It was 5 p.m. to 2 p.m. But I was already using my phone to record with Cindy. So I never got the message because I'm recording. And then I get done and all of a sudden there's like 15 text messages and phone calls. Where are you? Where are you? And so I had to like throw my gear. I'm walking into this. And this is perfect, you guys. It's one of those conference rooms that's double door. You open it up, and there's Gil at the head of the table facing the door. So I'm like this. So long story short is this. Gil was and could have been a jerk about it, right? Why are you keeping me late? I paid you to be here. Nothing but graciousness. He was so cool. He's like, no worries, take your time. As he's like chatting away on his phone. And I'm thinking he's probably saying, fire these people, But nothing but pleasure. He was so cool. So everyone, there's a reason why I'm saying this, because Checkpoint, top to bottom. Sure, there has to be structure and process, obviously, as a company, but everyone is so human. And that's the biggest thing about technology and cybersecurity, right? Is humanize the experience, because ultimately that is what is going to make a security platform successful, because it's the human element. Because you know what? You're always as strong as your weakest link. And if the humans can't freaking connect and your product can't connect on a human level, it's going to fail, period. So that was a see around, everyone. You're welcome. Good morning.
Yeah, but I mean, absolutely. Sia is like, she hit it on the nail on the head. And because that is what I walked away with as I would say an outsider, right? This was my first cybersecurity conference ever. And for me, I walked away with so much knowledge, it's so much wisdom, and the connections, right? The human aspect of it is what really sold it and put the bow and the cherry on top, however you want to call it. But, because there is a misconception that tech people don't have personalities. Oh, y'all have a lot of personality, right? And so, just seeing all the different individuals who have been on the show from Checkpoint Software, it's just been very inspirational to continue working together, to continue growing and seeing how we can innovate in the future, how we can contribute. So what is one of the aspects that drew you into this industry, Micki?
I was in emerging tech for a long time, and really at kind of like an engineer architecture level, and really putting together entire very complex systems for really large customers, including government. And I was starting back when there were very few women in IT, believe it or not, there were more women and minorities in engineering back then when I started. But when you got into like IT, especially on like the solution side of it, and dealing with customers, there were fewer and fewer. And I don't understand that. I think we're coming back around, which is great. But anyway, it was like there wasn't really the concept of cybersecurity. Back then, it was, it was more about connectivity, network connectivity, and internet connectivity, and actually making things communicate well. And hacking was really breaking stuff and fixing it, or, basically purposely breaking things and then testing them and doing QA and QC and then getting them to work again. So it was, I'm pretty much an old dog, but I think that what led me to Checkpoint is really a friend of a friend was in digital forensics, which I was doing. I had my own company for a short bit, and we were doing a digital forensics company, women owned, veteran owned. And he actually recommended me to come to Checkpoint because they were looking for like a diamond engineer. But when I interviewed, they were like, "Oh no, you need to be talking to customers every day and doing solution, architecture." So that's really where I started with global system integrators. And like, I love cybersecurity because first, you're always learning. If you're a curious person and you like to learn, we will never stop learning because you have to know all of the tech, all of the IT stuff, emerging tech, and then you have to understand where are the security gaps and basically underpinnings that need to be in that whole ecosystem and actually providing security control. So, and it has to be something that, like, we could go in and say, okay, around this area, we could put like concrete barriers and perimeters and guard towers and stuff like that, but no one could ever do any work. So the idea of cybersecurity is to work with people in context of how people use technology. It's not to make it painful or, like, it's to really augment the human. So I think that's kind of why I really liked it. And Checkpoint's always been like that. You talk to Gil. Gil is very humble. I think we need to write a book on Gil. I'm trying to find out if he's open to it. But I think, like, if you look back, he had the first stateful firewall technology. He patented it. It was unheard of. I mean, this was the beginning of, this was like DARPANET, going back to the beginning of the internet. It was earth shaking, right? And like, that's how the company just exploded. But he never stopped pushing for like innovations. We're doing firewall technology now. We're doing advanced security, advanced threat prevention, endpoint security, mobile, right? So it's like, but all of it was never to stop the human or the business from achieving their business goals. It was really to augment and actually support. So, like, really quick example is a lot of people hate their email security at their work. Oh my God, it stops the email. I need this email from somebody. It had an attachment and it got blocked. And now I have to go, try to figure out how to get it released and all that. We don't do that. At Checkpoint, our email and collaboration basically, and I'm not trying to do a Checkpoint commercial, but it works with the human. All we do is strip all the active content out of it. We still give the document, the attachment, but there's no macros, there's no background running, there's no scripts that can run, there's no hyperlinks. We basically extract that active content, still provide the information to the attachment and the information to the person, the user. So like, the thing is that we've always felt like it is it's enabler, right? It's a business enabler or empowerment. It should be speed of business. Cybersecurity should be. And I feel like that's kind of the DNA of the company, and that's what really brought me to.
You nailed it. Like, you can tell the vibe. I mean, look, there is something. I have a theory. When you are given the gift of massive intelligence, sometimes, I'm not saying all the time, just sometimes, you lack other areas like social graces. You know what I'm saying? Like, I won't talk about specific people, but when you got that hyper intelligence, sometimes that humanity side is somewhat a little bit lacking, a little robotic, right? Gil's actually pretty high EQ as well as
Yeah.
high IQ, right?
Yeah.
And that is like the most unusual, and that's why you have to be like, I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. But you also know the most successful humans in general, whatever your level and whatever level your job is that if you can master that EQ, IQ, I think you're the most well-rounded and the happiest person probably, right? Is
Yeah.
because you're in balance. And yeah, it's
I
just a
agree.
pure inspiration. And I think it shows in the product design and the way you guys go about things. Is he risk averse at times? Sure, maybe that's, whatever. But at the same time, when you are a cybersecurity company, you can't be, jumping all over the place. You really have to make very, I think, slow and steady
Mhm.
and build that tank strong versus the most mobile tank. And I've seen other companies go for like, oh, we're going to go pure future trends, but it's not necessarily the best product. What are your thoughts? You've 13 years here, you've been at other
Yeah.
companies. How is it that like you see Checkpoint? Because this year I see a lot of forward thinking, but it's kind of like forward thinking with this like tank at the bottom, like still like we're reaching out, we're broadening. What is it that you guys are doing where you're collaborating with your frenemies, right,
Mhm.
to give a better solution, right? What are you seeing and thinking? Because with Nadav taking over, right, as a new CEO, are you seeing a shift within Checkpoint being much more risk, not averse, but the opposite of risk, pro risk? I can't.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I would say I think three things. I think Checkpoint has always been about sustainable growth, and you would hear in the past like we may not like be the first to market, but we try to have when we do bring a solution out that is one, it's a secure platform, right? Security of a security platform is kind of important because it would be like, why have a security platform if you're not going to secure it? So we really care about like, QAing, making sure everything is tested properly before we roll out stuff. The second thing was always about innovation with Gil. And the third thing was really about people. But you would see that there was very much centralized kind of control around the headquarters, right? The leadership. We had autonomy in the regions quite a lot, but there was still, kind of like the central decision making. And what we're seeing now with Nadav, and this is all public information, but I think there's a sense of urgency, and the sense of urgency is coming from really focusing on the areas where we are leading or can lead and very effectively drive this market. So we're seeing like we were working with this cloud native application protection platform. We had bought Dome9, which was a company. We had bought Protego, which was another company, and another company that did code security called Spectral. And we rolled this into our Infinity platform, which is our security platform. And it was great, but they realized that it was kind of like pushing the rock up the hill. So over and over and over. And what we did is we did an alliance with Wiz, and Wiz is the market leader. And so we're actually having an alliance now, a strategic alliance. So customers that were on our CNAP they will move to Wiz. And then we're focusing more on like our SASE. So the idea is now is, I think most companies, which I talked about this for years, that there will be a time where companies are virtual. I mean, when I'm saying the entire company was built on virtualization, like you don't have employees in the US. Maybe you have some employees in the US, maybe you have some in Mexico, Latin America, maybe in other countries, in India and Ireland. They're working together and they have autonomy within the region. They are part of the company, but they're very in their country. And the idea, I think, COVID kind of kicked this off with people working from wherever because everything was shut down. Hyperscale, remote access control, and then these technologies like security services edge, and then this other technology is like basically SASE is going beyond VPN connection in. It's basically a digital or seamless digital user experience. So wherever I am, I'm working at home, I fly to London and I'm there working. I'm in a coffee shop. I'm at the pub. I'm on the call with you guys. I can work from anywhere and connect. And my user experience for my digital user experience is exactly the same wherever I connect. All of the authentication, all the security controls, all the threat prevention are happening on any device wherever I connect from. And I don't have to worry about doing something different wherever I go. It does look the ultimate security and really feeds that digital user experience. And performance is huge in that as well, because if I have a really good security solution for that, but it lowers performance when people are trying to get their work done and they're connecting, it's super important. So we are like a top performance compared to competitors in the SASE space, and we don't trade off performance for security or security for performance. So it's great, and I think that's what the company you're seeing is. We're really good at next generation threat prevention, AI-based threat intelligence, and proactive defense. What I mean is, if I see that there's a very with a high degree of confidence and precision that this is a threat, that I block that threat. Why ever have it, right? Why have an attack if I can block it? Also with that, we have to have a super low, a low bandwidth or low proportion of false positives, because that just makes security teams go crazy. And also if you block customers' traffic, that's legitimate. They'll lose their mind. So having
credibility and trust.
Trust.
So I'm gonna cut you off a little bit here, Micki. Your audio is starting to cut out just a little bit, so I'm not sure if it's the headset.
Oh yeah, really?
But it's like doing like a clipping. It's like so I don't know if you want to check to see if your headset is fully charged or not.
Okay,
but while you're checking on that, one thing I'd like to point out, and I'll do a CEO rant to cover while Micki's playing around there, is when you're thinking of cybersecurity and you're thinking of the experience for the end users, because that's going to be the consumer, that's the rest of the world, that's the rest of us. And if we cannot make it in a way where it's seamless, because we ain't got time for, look, two-factor authentication, yes, we know it does have to exist. However, if you make it part of the routine where it makes sense for the end user, it just becomes part of the practice and not so much this like pain in the wazoo. The gatekeepers are telling us, you can't play outside the sandbox and blah, blah, blah. And, oh, you know what? They're blocking all my emails. You know what I find very, very funny is that I used to be in cybersecurity as well. And I used to say this in presentations. How many times have the end users emailed the security team or IT team for that matter to say, hey, thank you for protecting me from that virus today. And you know what? Hey, thank you for protecting me from that, that sheik that keeps pinging us on DMs on LinkedIn as well as in our emails and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Like cybersecurity is one of those things where if you don't hear from us, we're doing our jobs. If you are doing your job effectively, we're doing our job. And it's a thankless job. That's what it is ultimately. And I think that's where, all the things you're talking about technically, you highlighted all the layers of work that is done to protect us. All we give a crap about, everyone, and you guys give me a applause emoji, is we just want this damn thing to work. When Sia wants to play her YouTube videos or wants to play her backgammon or Candy Crush game, I want authority to do it and leave me alone. You know what I mean? Or a random new app out there that could be more like, a game master spyware or whatever, right? I want to be protected, so I never download that stuff. So anyway, Micki, do you agree?
I agree. Can you hear me okay?
You sound perfect. Yeah, much better. Yeah.
Yeah, I flipped over. So I didn't know if it was my mobile hotspot or my Wicked earbuds. So hopefully this is better. Yes, I agree 100%. And that's the thing is, like I say with a lot of words, is ultimately it is a people experience, and the cybersecurity that's underpinning and protecting like your data and making sure that it's you and helping you understand that where you connect, you can trust, that you're not connected to like a spy network that's watching you on your wireless access point. That you're not getting spyware on your mobile device and or your tablet that's capturing your microphone or your camera or scraping your contacts or tracking your location without your knowledge. What you want is that you want that peace of mind. It kind of goes back to like everything, right? We want the peace of mind that we can go about our lives and about our business, and we don't have to be cybersecurity experts. It's in there, right? It's in there. And that's the thing is like, I hear these companies, oh, they're talking about KnowBe4 and, phishing campaigns. I'm like, human beings cannot detect phishing links anymore. Just like you get a QR code or a smishing code or a link that says, hey, this is your UPS or FedEx package, here's your link. Oh, it's on hold. People are just being people. You can't admonish people because they clicked a link. Most people can't tell these links are bit.ly links or little hyperlinks that have been obfuscated. You can't tell. So you need your cybersecurity in there. It's doing its job. It's protecting you and protecting your data and giving you peace of mind. That's what it's all about.
Okay, so I'm going to shift gear because Micki, I think there are days when we're like preaching to the choir. We are like talking our ear off. Like, bottom line, kids, trust that the technology that you are in when a corporate background is going to help support you. But sometimes, look, it's always a war battling, for the next gen, whatever attack that might be. So, Micki, what keeps you up at night, personally and or professionally?
That's a great question. So I was in DC last week. Well, no, I was in London. The previous week I was in DC and I was at the AI and Cyber Summit, and it was all public. It was the Public Technology Institute that sponsored, and Checkpoint was a big sponsor, but I was a keynote. And I was talking about these gray swan or black swan events. So if you ever want to read some really good books, like an author that I highly recommend is Nicholas Nassim Taleb. And he wrote the book Black Swan and also Anti-Fragile and a couple other books. But he was a really cool, really highly specialized AI machine learning kind of trader. When I say like Wall Street trader, right? And so he's written some books. And what the, like, I guess the synthesis of it is that in everything we do, we need to think about being resilient. And this is in our home lives. So if you're thinking about, hey, I've got a generator in case the power goes out, or I have food, I have water, and all those things. I have my gas, my diesel is filled up. It goes to that in everything we do. And it also goes to businesses and governments and infrastructure in terms of like the power grid and everything. We saw what happened in Spain and Portugal this past week, right? So the idea is that there are these things called black swans, and black swans, you might say black swan is the most magical, majestic, beautiful swan that could ever exist. But no one believed that there were real black swans until they saw them. In reality, black swan is so rare as a real swan and gorgeous and beautiful. But in risk, it's real bad. So black swan is an event that is really almost impossible to predict in any way. It comes from nowhere, and it's just like devastating. And we might say that COVID, although I think there are some precursors to COVID. So where am I going with this? The presentation I did was on, can you tame gray swans? And the idea is we're going about our lives, and we are consuming media, lots of media. A lot of people are consuming media from social media applications, and they're not like really checking. They're not really fact checking. They're very, I want to say they're very apt to just believe what we see every day. And
wait. Are you talking about things like, I don't know, like politics, for example? Okay,
yeah,
that's me.
that's the one.
That's it. That's all I'm going to say just for a second.
Yeah, I'm not going to get political. Yeah, no, we're not getting political, but our politicians are using these types of technologies. So in AI, we have generative AI that is very good at creating synthetic content. Synthetic content can be deep fakes. You heard this. Oh my God, by the way, we got to talk about the G20 movie I just saw last night. but it just
Gee.
came out on Amazon. Oh my God. But anyway, so deep fake is fake news, fake audio, fake video, fake media, right?
Yep.
Well, Interpol and Europol said that by 2026, 90% of all the content on the internet will be synthetic. Generative AI has pushed the capabilities of making very, very convincing videos, images, audios, news, and actually rolling them out and distributing them very quickly with very little defects, right? It's almost perfect. The technology is so convincing. It's so perfect. It's like Hollywood quality style, media now. And so what keeps me up at night and what I was talking about, especially for businesses, is that we're just one really major thing, major attack using adversarial generative AI with deep fakes and also a combined either kinetic or cyber attack that is actually going to shut down markets, shut down power grids, or so forth. The thing is, for companies being attacked, we can say, okay, there are nation states that are attacking our government agencies every day. They're using fake media to sway people, to change opinions, to create like a false flag where it looks like somebody's doing something and it's somebody else, another country, but it's really the bad guy country. But we're also seeing this in advertising, which is a good thing. Hey, we're just doing some advertising. It's kind of fun to have these Hollywood quality videos being created by generative AI. But in a business, it's not cool. So
No.
what my thing was the thesis of my thing was the Gray Swan is an event that is highly unlikely and improbable, but you can predict. You just have to think outside the box. Prediction is, I'm at a company, I'm a publicly traded company, our stock's doing great. We're a target now for cyber attacks always. Any successful business, and even those that aren't, are attacks or targets for attacks. So while precursors of attacks are coming, there's like subtle signs. There are people registering fake media accounts underneath my corporate domain. There are knockoff websites being registered that look like my domain. There's indications within my corporation that I see coming from outside that attacks are coming. They're very subtle. But now there's a deep fake attack. And the deep fake attack is the bad guy saying they have my data. They're about to release it to the public. And the stock tanks 15%. This isn't far-fetched, and it's actually happened. You can take and look at the DeepSeek. When DeepSeek came out and made an announcement with no claims whatsoever, no validated claims, that they trained their AI with this, blowing away all of the other competitors and the AI chipsets, that they did this with less money and less time. Basically, NVIDIA stock really kind of took a little bit of a fall. And the thing is that it's an example of what can happen. The other thing that's super scary, and this is for us as individuals, is that a lot of these technologies you're hearing about, revenge pornography, child exploitation, right? Or these technologies are being used. That's why I tell people, like, I have family members, they put their kids' pictures out on Facebook and all this stuff. I'm like, you cannot do that. You don't know who's watching. So when I tell you guys this, I'm saying, if I'm by a professional, I'm slightly paranoid. I think it's a cybersecurity professional qualification to be kind of slightly paranoid, and also think creatively outside of what could be. But I think that this stuff is all happening. So when I tell you this, I'm just telling you guys not to be afraid, but be very aware, because in your personal life, there's already been deep fake attacks using audio, cloned audio, where the attackers say, I have your kid, pay us money, to, even, I hate to say it, but politicians have used some of this technology to get people to not believe or to create fake media. So, but for corporations, these precursors of these attacks, you can actually see them coming, but you have to be able to put this big picture together. So In the old school, in military days and in law enforcement, there's a thing called the fusion center. And basically all of these things are feeding in and they're creating like if I was an air traffic controller, I could see on my radar scope all of the planes on the board, the ones that are close, very close, and the ones that are far afield, and the little corporate jets that are flying. Those things, you have to see all of that on your radar scope to know what's going on and to be able to see what your security posture is, what the situational awareness is, and if you're going to be attacked. You can get in front of these. You guys know, as a media company, if I know that somebody's stolen my data or they're starting to, I see some attack forming, I know something's coming. I see people talking on the dark web that they have my data and they're about to release it. There's all kinds of chatter like, 4chan and all these other side channels. There's dark web, there's dark net. There's all kinds of intelligence signals buzzing about. But as a regular corporation, I might not see that unless I'm listening for it and I have a way to get that information. You can see that this is coming. They have your data now. They're about to release it. Your company can get ahead of that with prepared with the incident response, with your press release. And then if someone does release something as a deep fake or some type of fake news, saying that they're now going to extort they know about your customers, they're going to extort them, or they stole their credentials, you can be in front of it. And that's the whole thing, is taming these gray swans and stopping these things from happening is really getting in front of the situation, but you have to be able to see it. And for us as human beings, individuals in our homes, in our communities, our church, families, we have to tell our friends and families about the technology and just make them be aware, right? Don't believe, use a zero trust approach, right? With content, even phone calls you receive, right?
Yeah, let me add this, so everyone, just to clarify, zero trust literally means exactly that. For those that are, again, not in the technical space, trust no one is literally what we're saying. Even if it's coming from a friend of yours that's in the cybersecurity world. So case in point, I have a buddy, he's a cybersecurity architect at a company. We sent, as friends do, we send each other jokes and links and funnies and stuff, right? Well, he sent me a link, no context, just sent me a link over, text. And I almost randomly clicked it because he's my buddy, of course. And he's in cybersecurity of all things, right? But at the last second, I looked at the URL and it said .kr. And I was like, what? So I texted him and I go, dude, have you been hacked? Did you send me a link? And he didn't, of course, as communicative as some of our fellow brethren are, doesn't reply back for hours. And I'm going, dude. So I'm calling him going, are you? And he's like, dude, I'm in a meeting. Shut up. And I'm like, you sent me a KR link. And he goes, yeah, it's fine. It's a burger recipe. We were talking about burgers the other day. And this is and the Koreans have some great recipes. So he's like, and I'm like, dude, you have to add text. You cannot trust. And so that's a story of zero trust. Why? Yeah, it might have been a false positive for me, but you always verify. Trust, but verify, everyone. Okay, that is my description of zero trust for anyone that's not technical.
Perfect.
Yeah, and no, the thing is, it really does happen. It can happen anytime, any day, and we don't realize how vulnerable and gullible we can be, and learning how to discern. It's difficult sometimes because we lead such busy lives. So it's just next thing, next thing. So it's you keep moving at this fast pace that you're bound to make some sort of, mistake, or you're going to fall prey to one of these. I almost fell prey to one of them earlier this week, and I was just like, oh no, Raquel, my single parent mind is on 17,000 things at the same time, and I could have just robotically just clicked on the link, open it, but I'm like, no, let me stop. So that little hesitation right there is what saved me. And so it's very important for all of us to really become aware, educated, and take action. I always tell people, yes, what are you going to do with this knowledge? So you're aware, you have this knowledge. How are you going to take action to be able to, I would say, prevent, but minimize and reduce that risk? So that to me is important.
no one's ever 100% foolproof. Like, I mean, no one can ever say that, right? Life is not 100% bulletproof, right? But it is so funny, Guillermo, you're cracking me up. La historia de mi vida. I'm
Yeah.
like, that's right, my friend. Story of everyone's life, right? But yeah, I mean, you guys, and even then, my friend, trust no one, only pizza. Let me tell you, my friend, I made a comment and said, I like pineapple on my pizza, and then that just blew up. So pizza is no longer real, apparently, because if you allow pineapple on pizza, that's another thing. So you can't even trust pizza anymore.
Oh my God. Now I'm hungry. Jeez.
That's
Okay.
the best pizza ever, man. The Hawaiian with pineapple and Canadian bacon, or
Mm,
Ooh,
so
and
good.
jalapenos.
ladies. Gosh.
Mm.
Now see, now I want to go out and have a little sip and go eat now.
I love it. I love your Kentucky Derby hat is awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm super excited. But one thing that I did want to acknowledge, just because it's such an ingrained, in our culture, and just respect, and you're just an awesome superhuman, superwoman. You are a veteran. You served in the military, and thank you so much for your service. Army,
Thank you,
correct?
guys. Yeah, Army. Yep.
Oh, go
Yes.
Army.
Go
Oh.
Yes.
Army.
So, tell us a little bit about that portion and how that's added to your, to your knowledge and to your wisdom and everything, your expertise in cybersecurity. Just because I think it's very important, also.
Awesome. I'll keep it super brief. I was a little wild child, so I was kind of like a little party animal. And I went into college and I dropped out after a semester because I was just partying like a little maniac. And I was like, I really need some discipline. And so I was deciding to go in the military. I felt like I wanted to serve, but I think it was also too is like, what am I going to do next? Maybe I'm not college material. So I got in this really great electronics program. So it was a year long training, which is called AIT. So I went through boot camp and went to AIT, home of the Signal Corps, Fort Gordon, Georgia. And that really started me into like all the tech. So I was doing some computer science. Back then it was like, seriously, we go over to the university, we use punch cards. I don't want to age myself, but yeah, that's how it was. And it really got me, it gave me a lot of discipline, and really I had a strong sense of service, but I needed like a way to direct that. So that was really good discipline and service. And then really set me forward in my career in, high tech and electronics. I could have gone to medical side too and been a combat medical technician, which like an EMT with my kind of like my ASVAB scores, but the electronics was perfect and it really was awesome. And I was in a detachment called the U.S. Army Information Systems Command. It was a worldwide detachment. We had early IT, telecom, encryption, air traffic controllers. So it was a really cool unit, and it was
Oh,
great. It was great.
it's like so
Okay.
much badassery there. I don't know if I can
Right?
say that.
It's badassery like for you specifically, but in general too, though, because Checkpoint is Israeli based. So many of the folks have military backgrounds. I'm going to argue this in technology, and for those that go into the military, I think that's a great opportunity to see how the government side of life, if you want to call it, like does cybersecurity and the technology around it. It's not necessarily 100% the same. And I think it's fascinating because the discipline that military fosters in the troops is so applicable in civilian life, but particularly in cybersecurity, because you do have to checklist a little bit, right? To like figure out if you're on the, team that has to fix an issue versus the red, blue, and purple teams. Like you have to think outside the box if you want to like think what you predict is going to happen, right? And kind of hopefully hedge bets. There is the red team that's like, blue is like the recovery side of the team, and then the purple team is like a mixture of both, right? Like
Right.
I think it's like a puzzle. It's like a game. To me, it's like it is like, oh my gosh, it just reminded me, and I totally just like randomly like, I'm sorry, kids, I'm still waking up here. War games. Do you guys remember war games in the 80s? So shout out to Technophile Real Talk, of which Checkpoint does sponsor that show. So thank you, you guys. We did review war games. And that to me is just like from the 80s, that predecessor to the world that we're experiencing today. And so it's granted, it is Hollywoodified, but it's still such a fascinating thing to think. But anyway, I digress. Raquel, I know you're going to try to get to a derby, and I'm rambling on, and Micki's got to send her beautiful horses and ranch.
It's okay. No. One of the the things that I admire so much of Micki is just because, yes, she has this amazing story of resilience and innovating and being one of the first women to pave the way for so many of us, and so many of us from the future. And I think about my kids. I think about my girls. I have 2 girls, and I'm trying not to get teary-eyed over here. Is because my 11-year-old is going to be in middle school next school year, and I'm like, how the heck did we get here? I just had you like not too long ago, and now you're going into middle school, and she loves STEM. She loves everything that has to do with science and technology and math. She's gifted. What is a message, or a parting message that you can leave them for the future to continue on this path and not get derailed for any external sources? What would you say?
I'd say follow your passion. Like, the thing is that kids can do anything. If they already have an aptitude for that, you just need to fuel it, right? I mean, it's just give them every opportunity, expose them to everything. And maybe it's not coding, maybe it's design, maybe it's working with robots, whatever it is. Maybe it's building stuff in the lab, maybe it's chemistry, right? Maybe it's, hacking. But there are so many things kids can do. They don't have to wait until they go to college. They can start doing robotics and hacking clubs now, coding clubs, even art. So in STEM is now people are putting STEAM, right? Because there's a lot of digital art and technology in the art that is coming in. There's also making stuff with technology that's artistic. So there's so much opportunity. Just power them. Give them every chance, expose them to everything, let them try it and encourage them, and get them in a program where, there's a group of kids, and it should be cool, right? There's a lot of really great resources for STEM moms for helping the kids and to get them situated. There's all these programs within school, US Robotics. I mean, I think Fort Worth has a baccalaureate IT, technology school. So you guys have it in Houston, I know too. That's the deal right there. Just empower them and support them.
So if I can add about STEAM real quick, because people don't think the arts side of it applies to tech, AI is intrinsically human communication. Mm-hmm. And I think there's a misnomer that you've got to be some kind of programmer to do this whole world of, AI. Well, AI is really at its core root automation, right? How do we simplify, automate all this massive amounts of data that's out there in a way that a human mind can digest it in the fastest path, right? And you could be an artist, you could be a copywriter, and still have the ability to participate very much in the world of our society that's we're evolving into. I mean, at the root of everything is technology is designed to make the human experience easier, and whatever social commentary you want to make on that, right? But that's where I think I kind of want to bring us all back down to is, this is why talking to you, Micki, is so fun, because the technical dirty dungeon works and bolts of it all. But at the same time, it's it's us at the end of the day that it's for, and getting to know you, and the fact that you are relatively local. I know it's a haul for you, but for us to, like, if we need to and want to, we can still physically all get together, because that's what
we
what
should.
the whole is.
That would be awesome.
So I'm just so happy that we've met, and it's just such a validation of everything all being done and said. It's about us connecting, and that's, to me, the big thing.
I love it. Thank you guys so much for the opportunity to come and talk with you and everyone. Thank you guys.
Oh, thank you. No, and then obviously, you know, how everyone can find you, connect with you via LinkedIn. That's the best way.
Yes.
And I know Micki, she's an amazing individual. She loves to connect.
Yes.
She really pours into that human side of things, and that's why she was a perfect fit
Yes. Right.
for our show today. So thank you for the knowledge, the wisdom, and everything that you've imparted. You know, I know we're going to continue our journey of growth, and with Checkpoint by our side, just because you guys are amazing. So thank you to Checkpoint. Thank you so much to everyone, and then our amazing another sponsor as well. So Sia, let's go ahead and give graces, and guys, we shall see you next time. Enjoy the Derby. All right, let us know who's your
Falling
favorite horse.
asleep
All right,
with your neck in the wrong
ciao,
position
guys.
can be a real pain in the neck. Literally. People of all ages are falling for Tossie. Tossie gives you the comfort you've always dreamed of. Go to TossieBrands.com and get your comfort on.
Thank you for joining. If you enjoyed today's show, please subscribe and follow us for the next episode.